The World Wrestling Federation, for over 50 years, the revolutionary force in sports entertainment.
What's our name?
Well, men on the
Are you ready?
Well, men.
Here we go. Bam, bang, boom. Here we go.
Welcome to the New Generation Mission podcast on the Backbone Wrestling Network. I'm Tim Slomka.
I'm JP.
Thanks for again joining us. As always, we're on the journey to relive the New Generation era, to find the best and some of the worst of a wrestling time period often forgotten. From Bret and Shawn Survivor Series 92 to Bret and Shawn Survivor Series 97, look beyond the pay-per-views, examine the weekly TV, see what worked, what could have worked, and what failed. JP, how was life?
Pretty good, man. Can't complain. How you doing?
I'm doing good. About to pack the kids up for Disney next week, so excited for that. But gotta get ready for Florida weather. So I'm getting my shorts out, my Daisy Dukes, and cut off jean shorts, and ready to join the Florida crew. So
yeah, it was about to be a different story. I'm glad that it's not looking like there was about to be another major hurricane coming through here, but I think it's taking a track west now. Hopefully.
yes, it looks like it.
Yeah, so I just couldn't even handle it.
Yeah,
it was direct to us again, but
yeah, and luckily, I mean, Orlando gets some of it, but hopefully it wouldn't be too bad.
Well, yeah,
so.
you would be on Orlando side anyway, so I mean, at worst, you probably just get a little bit of rain, but
rain and close the park for a day, maybe or two, but yeah,
right. So hopefully, the way it's looking, you're not gonna have to deal with any of that.
Yeah, well, good. Yeah, and it looks good for at least flying in there. So at least we'll get there, and then we're just stuck. Then we're stuck at Disney. There's gonna be worse spaces.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And then and some other events. Don't want to talk football, but I did see today a highlight of a worse Hail Mary give up than the Bears did. So I felt a little better about my life. There was back on the day, LSU beat Tennessee or Kentucky, and it was. Yeah, and it was the replay came out today. I said I felt so better because they flashed the score as final without them giving them a touchdown. That's how unlikely it was. Like the key guy had already said the game's over, and this guy's just walking in for a touchdown. So I felt a little better.
I was watching that game live. I vividly remember watching that game live and just thinking the whole you usually see like the Hail Mary into the end zone.
This is like
It was
just 30-yard short. Yeah. So I felt a little better about my Bears. I unfortunately had to see them.
Are you gonna be in the air Sunday? Or are you gonna be?
We will be at Teacups. I'll be vomiting from that versus vomiting from watching the Bears. So it'll be a positive.
Yeah.
And I told my wife we were at the game Sunday, and I said, you know what, it's kind of nice now. I don't have to worry about trying to find the Bears. Right. Years ago, they were good. We went there one year, and they were really good without kids. And I was like, we got to find a place to watch the game. It was like a night game, so it kind of worked out perfectly. Like we did the Disney, and then went out for drinks and dinner and stuff, and that was a lot of fun actually. But I said we don't have to worry about this year. No need to to find the game. It's embarrassing.
Continuation, but
yes,
it is what it is, man.
It is a rough place to be.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk some. Not Psycho Sid yet. So I already watched ahead, so I'm excited. So I'll try to keep it.
Wait.
I'll try to not get the spoilers, but I'm pumped. All right. We're gonna do it. We got the dog show in the middle here, so we're gonna do a little bit maybe different or shorter episode this time. We're gonna do one Raw, which is the 2-6, and then two Superstars back to back, and then that will get us with live Raw. And I've already watched that Raw, and that really sets up WrestleMania. So we'll get through these. There's some good stuff in here, but it kind of works out perfectly. Doing it this way. So one Raw, two Superstars. So we'll start with Raw. February 6th at the back in Florida, your place. This is the same one from your that small town with all the old grandmas.
Manatee,
yep. So it's back there. So we're doing the same taping as last time. So this is the last one of the taping. And we get the worst dancing by Shawn Michaels to kick it off in front of a green screen. Yeah. It was so bad. And I just I'm so stupid. I thought these were like live cuts at the beginning and like growing up, but they're clearly not. Like this is the worst thing ever. I put that Vince probably just wanted some more alone time with Shawn in the studio. I'm guessing that's what it was. It feels like Vince is so corny on these things, but like when Gorilla was there, I felt like it was always live. So it must be like a Vince idea of like, we got to do these corny, make sure the exact storyline is exactly laid out.
But this Shawn stuff is like getting borderline weird, like with like this, I don't know, like this.
Yeah.
It's almost like a fetish.
Yes. And I don't remember this at all.
Neither do I.
I don't
I don't remember. I don't remember it being like so heavy Vince on Shawn until like '96, like the Boyhood Dream stuff. But
Yeah.
like it's clearly obvious right now. So
Yeah, I just don't remember this at all. Like, I don't remember him commentating him. I don't remember him not fighting that much, right? Like, that's a weird thing. Like, he's never wrestling.
right.
Like, he's always commentating or injured, or like it's really weird. So we get that, and we're gonna start off with a tag match, kind of what built from last time. So we got, we kind of had the interference on the Fat Man match. So now we have a weird tag team we got the $1 Million Corporation, really, right? Tatanka, IRS, King Kong Bundy versus Lex Luger and Men on a Mission. And they really start putting up that, Lex and Tatanka are ready to have a blood feud, and this is about to end it. So that's kind of the storyline thrown throughout this. It's kind of a long match, but with a 6-man match that works okay. Mabel gets gassed multiple times during this match. It's like a 12-minute match, and Mabel gets gassed. Mo pretty much takes all the beating, so he's getting the worked over and does kind of hot tags to both Luger and Mabel throughout the match. Vince during the match basically shits on both teams and says he's not impressed by either Men on a Mission or anyone from $1 Million Corporation. So maybe not the best from the lead announcer. We do get Luger with a hot tag. He does slam Bundy, which is pretty cool. We just get a lot of like different interactions between the 6 guys. I thought it was pretty good for a 6-man tag. So it was kind of the Survivor Series of like, but things was happening. It wasn't just like rest holds. Bundy again gets the pin on Luger. So there was kind of a crazy, finish here where Mabel kind of takes out Tatanka, and then you kind of get out of nowhere. Tatanka able to get Luger and Bundy pins him. It's kind of a little bit messy at the end. I think they were trying to just make it not clean for Luger to lose. Like I said, they really set up this match with Luger and Tatanka on, I think, Action Zone. It's kind of a messy match, but it was fun. And it was, I thought, a good showcase for each guy. Like, each guy got moves. Mo took the beating, so the hot tags was good. And then you kind of get the end of just them kind of, talking about how Luger and Tatanka's on Action Zones for next weekend. So it seemed like it was all setting up for that, but it was fine.
Yeah. So like, this is like the classic, we start an angle, the first show of the taping, and then like mold it together with the first match of the second taping. So being that for what it wasn't that bad. Like they obviously didn't have like this great build to it or anything like that, but kind of random to have like Luger and Men on a Mission together, but they kind of made it make sense on the fly. So I thought Luger was still like got a good pop from the crowd, like you mentioned, like especially with the slam and everything with the hot tag.
Yep.
It's just going nowhere, and it sucks that they just didn't do anything with him. But the crowd still kind of at least is pushing for him a little bit. So there's that. But I kind of want to see like this Luger and Tatanka stuff die too. It just doesn't. It's not. I don't think it was ever good except for like the turn. And it hurt both characters. Like the switch hurt both of them. So just a real like decline for what could have been 2 like huge baby faces for the company. So there's that. Then we get a statement from Bobby Cupo.
Oh yes, amazing.
I guess a lawyer for LT or a spokesperson for LT, commenting that he wants an apology from Bigelow now. So this is great stuff. Like this little touch here. I don't know who this really is. I don't know if he's like an actual lawyer or whatever.
I don't think they hired actors for these because there's another one. I think he's hired.
Yeah, the other one. Yeah. Yeah, so it's good stuff. It adds a lot of realism to it.
Yeah.
I love the spotlight they're putting on Bigelow because of this. And like, it's so crazy to see that like Bigelow is doing what Austin did like 3 years later. Like this is like the Stone Cold role. It's just in a homogenized environment. Like it's obviously not the Attitude Era, so he can't go full on with it. But like this is like PG Steve Austin, like to me, because Steve Austin and Tyson kind of did the same thing. Like that was the same kind of storyline.
Yep.
And Bigelow.
Yeah, exactly this. Yep.
Yeah. So Bigelow's just got so much fire to it. For anyone who hasn't seen like this side of Bigelow and like to see it in the context of this era is so good. So really liking how they're progressing that. Then follow that up with the debut of Man Mountain Rock. He's playing the guitar in the ring and everything, which I guess is kind of cool, but his outfit is terrible. He's got like these tie-dye, almost looks like pajamas the way he's wearing them.
Yes, they're ridiculous.
Yeah, it looks insane. Like I get if you want to wear like the tie-dye shirt or something, but to wear like tie-dye sweatpants, like he looks like 2000 Mick Foley or something. Like the sweatpants, he just looks like not a threat at all.
No.
Even the match kind of sucked. He like hit like a bunch of elbow drops, like just like slow plotting offense. He wins with the gourd buster, which I guess is kind of cool, but just didn't really do anything for me. I've grown up in good old Gibsonton, Florida. Here, I've seen a lot of like white guys with braids and tattoos and stuff. So this didn't really inspire me much to see more of Man Mountain Rock.
Yeah. It just says his outfit just is so new gen.
Right.
Like it literally is. You know, it's just out there.
And then we also get a Diesel segment with Vince, which this was kind of cool because like it's like a sit down and it's more of like the real character of him. But for some reason, like Diesel breaks as soon as they go to talk. Like there must have been something, like Vince must have said something right before, like real goofy or something.
Okay.
And Diesel's like laughing in the middle of it, like breaks character. Then has to like hurry up and like fix it, which they didn't edit out, which is kind of weird. He calls Bret and Owen both great athletes, like, you know, complimenting both, even though Owen's like a bad guy and Bret's a good guy. He speaks on like having 9 knee operations. Says that like Shawn has it all as far as a competitor goes, so he's really hyping up his competition, which I think a lot of baby faces should do, like hype up their competition.
Yep, exactly.
Who are you beating? You know,
yep.
So that's good. Vince drops his shoot name, like calls him Kevin Nash.
Yep.
You don't get that too often, so that
especially
was
at this time.
Weird. Right. Yep. Then they show like a slideshow of all of his like appearances. So they're really hyping him up to be this like credible, not celebrity, but it's like
definitely celebrity
kind of character.
Well, because they brought up that he brought an LT and like they're different.
True.
They're different presenting him than they did Bret. Like Bret was a show like worker and work rate, and this is more, hey, this guy is super cool with the celebrities and stuff.
Right, and then that he was a former athlete and all that kind of plays into him like hobnobbing with all these athletes and stuff. So it kind of brings that to that little bit of realism again to the WWF. So a decent little sit down there with them. Not the best stuff, but at least you're getting the actual side of Diesel instead of like this hyped up crazy fake promo kind of thing. I like this side of him a lot better.
Yeah, and I see and I also have that we Vince touched a boner for him during that, and then we after that we get that Shawn has a black eye.
Right.
I don't know what that's from. So I kind of like go back to Shawn and like play it up, and he's like, "Hey, I keep getting attacked by everyone. I'm gonna need some help." So
right.
Kind of Shawn plays off of that a little bit. We get Mantar next. The no head is so sad. The no forehead. It's just disappointing. But he destroys everyone. They joke about him going to WrestleMania, so they just don't take this guy seriously, which kind of sucks. And disappointing that he gets kind of treated that way. We get they're back on February 20th, so they're kind of really building up that like, hey, we're going to be back live on February 20th. So kind of kind of noting that like, hey, we got the dog show. We're gonna this maybe is not the best episode. We're gonna have a week off, but we'll be back really good on the next Raw. So we finished with 2 squash matches. Razor, a guy we haven't really seen, doesn't seem to be chasing Double J, like just kind of out there for a match. We get Henry Godwin out there, who's looked solid, I think, when he's been out there. So he looked pretty solid. We really like that Undertaker match from last time. And then we go back to Shawn again. Like 20% of the show was Shawn and Vince talking, like at ringside. But Shawn said that he's retiring from announcing. Vince actually looks heartbroken, like he's supposed to be acting it, but he's like, I think actually crushed. So he announces that he's done announcing, which I think is good. Like again, you don't remember this. He's been okay, but nothing great. And then he talks about how he needs a bodyguard and that he will announce him next week on Raw, or the next time on Raw. So kind of setting up Shawn, back to the in-ring versus kind of this whatever vacation he's taking right now from the ring. So
yeah, and I'm 90% sure that Vince snipped his chair when Shawn stood up. So
it could have. There a lot of stuff that could have happened at the end of that episode. So
yeah. So.
Anything else you want to bring up on this Raw?
No, I think we're good on that one.
It was okay. It was definitely the one where you could tell, hey, this is the end of a taping.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a Raw. Like Raw, it hasn't, doesn't have the biggest ups and downs, but this one just didn't. Like they overplayed the Shawn stuff because you can tell it didn't have much left in the tank, and it just lacked a little star power.
Well, obviously, it pre-recorded. It's like they probably ran out of stuff to do. So, like, I just let Shawn dance for 5 minutes.
Right.
So, good. We'll move to Superstars 211. This one's still back from Corpus Christi, Texas, back on January 10th. So, still pre-Rumble. And I do like Tatanka out first. I love that his music starts with the chant and then goes right into Million Dollar Man. I think it's a good sequence of there. They really talk up, again, Action Zone this weekend that him and Luger are going to fight. So they really talk up that. And then we get a full recap of Bam Bam. I thought this was really well done. Basically, week by week, slowly playing it through, but you could feel the tension, right? Of like what you say, like, Bigelow's playing this perfectly. He started off like, okay, he was mad, and they had technical difficulties. They got madder, and now he's challenging him to fight. Like, I thought the package and the build-up's really good. And it feels like it needs to go to a crescendo, like of a match, because it's kind of feels ridiculous. Like, why is LT going to fight? But if like the way they're building up, if this wasn't going to go to a match, like this would have been really rough, right? So I love that it gets to a match. Like, this is the perfect build, and this segment was really well done.
Well, I don't as a kid, I don't remember this. Like, I don't remember Bigelow being this good. Obviously, I probably wasn't looking for this kind of thing in my wrestling back then, like as a kid. But like, he is just on fire with these promos. Like, you could tell he is taking this ball and running with it, and they probably already told him it's going to be the main event as well. So he's taking the driver's seat, and it kind of sucks because like at the same time you see another, like, because what happens obviously, like, towards the end, you see just another wasted guy. Like he is so good here, and in 6 months he's jobbing out to like gold dust and stuff. It's like it just sucks. Like Luger, they did the same thing to Tonka. Like all these guys that they're building and they're putting this investment in, and it just turns into that. So
yeah, I'll be interested to see. Because, like, I'll be interested to see, like, he made events, King of the Ring. So, like, feels like maybe he's around a little bit. Like, he'll be an interesting guy to see. Like, does he really do it? But then, like, we know he shows up in WCW, like, in 98 with, like, fat, wearing a T-shirt. I could also see him a guy of, like, all right, after he doesn't have, like, a full, we'll see, right? A full, ECW, program.
He's awesome.
Right, yeah. Like, I just don't know if, like, he starts giving up, right? Like, and all of a sudden, like, by mid-July, we're like, this guy's kind of fucking, sorry. Well, he was, but just giving up on life. Like, cashing checks. Yeah. I mean, he might be.
Well, he was like a big Click target too. Like, supposedly, like the Click did not like him at all. So he was like a Shane Douglas, like that type that the Click hated. So. Which doesn't make any sense. Because,
supposedly Hogan hated him too, right? The 87. So we'll see if how he looks and stuff.
He probably rubs some people the wrong way. Like he's probably brash. Kind of like his character, I guess. But I guess we'll see how it plays out. From there, we get a fucking Heavenly Bodies squash. I had to match you there.
Yeah, thank you. I was just like, I just think of his WCW run. He's so terrible, like, of just giving up on life. Yeah, so embarrassing.
So we got a Heavenly Bodies squash there. Good to see them back. I like the tag scene's kind of
very solid.
It's getting a little deeper now, and it's some decent teams, some fresh faces. So I'm going to be interested to track that. Then we get a high-profile match.
Can I real quick? Yeah. There was a really bad Miss Moonsault in this match, one of the worst ever. And there was a back suplex that Vince called "What a Maneuver." So, like, the Heavenly Bodies are just someone that Vince could not deal with. Like, the Miss Moonsault is like a great one, and it literally was one of the worst moonsaults I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the back suplex, he's like, what a maneuver. It's like he doesn't know how to call these matches. So I'm interested to see them back. Like I would have not thought they're back. They keep showing up, right? They're a team to like every time I think they're done, they're back like randomly. So
yeah, and they're in like they're in ECW either later this year or 90. Yeah, it has to be later this year because what's his name turns into Zip. But they're they're all over the place. So they're an interesting team because they never like stand out as like the top team of an area, but they're always kind of like in the mix.
We like them. Yeah, we love them.
Yep. So from there we get Adam Bomb versus HBK. Bomb has some like orange and black tights now with like explosions. They look kind of weird to me, a little different, but this is like a little bit of a surprising match to start. Like Shawn bumps like crazy for him. He gets like launched over the top to start, like bounces over on the ropes and then flips over the top, and then it's just like he's pinballing all over the place for Adam Bomb. So I feel like early on, probably like 93, where we were high on Adam Bomb to begin with, and then he just did nothing but squash matches. Like I felt like if he would have got this kind of match early on, he could have been elevated sooner and kind of made into a solid mid-card guy, not like world champion or anything, but he could have had some pay-per-view matches or something like that. Because Shawn is bringing out the side of Adam Bomb that nobody else has done. So this is pretty cool. Bomb then goes for like his like a little slingshot move as Shawn ducks out of the way and hits Sweet Chin Music for the win. So good to keep Shawn strong. Adam Bomb just like made a mistake, and that's what beat him like as he was dominating the whole match. So it kind of kept him strong. I thought it was a solid little match and a good showing for Adam Bomb.
Yeah, we did have Stephanie Wyan recap of Kama, and he talks exactly like Papa Shango.
Yes.
Like I'm like, man, why?
It's so bad.
It's so bad. He's 100% Papa Shango. Yeah. And he says he wants some competition. He goes, and they did a good job of throwing some highlight films, but he was like beating like jobbers. So I liked that, just as something different from a, event center thing. And then Adam Bomb, I thought the entrance was cool. They made it seem like it was a big shot. Like they definitely pumped crowd noise in for him too, but like they gave him the wide angle thing. You saw like his bomb firework explosion, firework go off that like from a wide angle. So it looked pretty cool. I love that Bomb was like chasing him around the ring. It made it look like he was on par with like Shawn. Like I really think they did this. Did they mention anything about like him being similar size to Diesel, or did they bring that up? I don't
recall.
That would have been good for them to do. Like I was kind of thinking like on that because
smart,
because it made him seem on par of him, and like Shawn having to attack a bigger guy, and then Shawn won with the super kick, which I feel like that's now his move because they like. It finally actually pinned him, so like they made a big deal out of it. So I don't know if this is like the start of the super kick, but it kind of feels like it's.
So, that I can remember. I don't remember him. I mean, he's not like
he would use it, but never. But he would use it like the super kick, but it's never like pinning, right? It was just like, he caught him out of nowhere, but never like this. This is a pure pin,
right?
And then we get so I thought a good match. A guy Bomb that I think we were high on like going into this, like, man, he's gonna be one of our favorite guys in New Gen, and then he's kind of done nothing, and then like every once in a while reality set in. But this looked good. He's a guy again where it'd be interesting to see like his WCW runs and his other runs. Like you just can never seem to take off. And then we get a Ken Norton Jr. Promo. So again, you're trying to bring out like the best of celebrities right now. It's like Celebrity Mania. Everyone talks about 11 that says he's going to WrestleMania instead of Disneyland. So cool get there. They're trying to make wrestling definitely a cool thing.
Right.
We get Man Martin Rock again, rocking out of the ring. He is my comment is, was tie-dye super popular at this time? And I'm not sure, but the way he's rocking it, like this is different outfits, but the same type look. And I assume he's playing. Like it looks like he's playing. He actually sounds so good, and my note is that like looks so much better than Greg the Hammer Valentine playing. So if he's faking it, he's really good at faking it. But I think he is playing live to the crowd, whether they overdub it afterwards. But I think live he's playing something. It looks really. He's definitely playing something, and it looks good. Like I said, compare that to
looks natural.
It looks natural to him. So we randomly get a Hakushi interview from. Very random from like a tour stop. It was not at the same taping. Stan Lane is so bland in his like his thing to there. I thought they did a good job because they go back and forth with speaking between answering his questions in Japanese and answering them in English. I thought it was really well done by Sinja, like really doing it and talking about his tattoos, but then going into Japanese to describe something else, which finally got some heat. Because again, this is a guy that you're not really sure what he's supposed to be, and they're kind of like, "Hey, he's foreign." By speaking a foreign language, start booing him.
Right.
I mean, that's the way we were in '95 as a WWF fan base, but that's what it was. And then they meant Hakushi means white angel, so kind of like explaining, that's why he's flying around the ring. He's like a white angel. So I thought good stuff on that as well. Anything? Oh, and then he also talked that he's going after Bret Hart's.
Yeah, well, I think Hakushi looks so badass here. Like
Yes.
he just looked like push him to the moon. Like he's just the presentation is so good, and he's obviously a little different in ring, so that adds to his aura or whatever. But this is a good presentation here, minus Stan Lane.
Yes, he was too.
Right.
And I did think I wonder, like, they've been doing so. We'll hear. I hear so much with Jerry the King Lawler talking about Kushi. I wonder if this was going to be the Mania match,
Right?
like instead of Backlund, because like Backlund and Bret have no feud right now. So I wonder if that was originally the idea. Was this was going to be the Mania match?
Yeah, that'd have been cool.
Yeah.
I also like the reveal of like the name and everything too.
Oh yeah. It was
The
really
white-
well done. Yeah.
White Angel. And my kids now they know why I call them Hakushi all the time. So then we move on to.
Oh yes, this is
yeah.
this is definitely
This was the death here. Well Done versus the Head Shrinkers, and I'm thinking, okay, we have a tag scene, right? We got a little bit of a couple mixed teams from the South, Smoky Mountain, USWA coming in. This was a squash match.
20 minutes. That's 20 minutes.
Yeah,
20 minutes.
This was the quickest. I could not believe that Well Done is dead and buried. Like. They have matching outfits. They have a name, and it just got squashed. Like the splash. I was like looking. I'm like, wait, no way, it's done already. I had to rewind it.
I couldn't take notes.
I
couldn't get my notes. I had to go. I did the same thing. I had to rewind.
I was like, what?
because I couldn't get my notes fast enough.
Like, look, I'm not gonna defend Well Done anymore. They suck, but I did not think to be the name tag team like that was crazy. That's usually not WWF's MO at this time, so that was interesting. And it wasn't even to like build towards something for the Head Shrinkers either, which was weird. So
well, there's one. This is the first time I think we've seen like two main guys or teams fighting on Superstars without them pubbing. Like usually they have like next week or something, right? Even if the most random matches have always had like next week or like at the beginning. They made no announcement of this, so I'm like, where did this come from? They also announced that they also announced that whoever won this get a tag team title shot.
Right.
So like why?
Right.
Well, how did Well Done deserve this? And I love at the end of the match. Again, it was History WWE has the exact time 1:33. I mean, just absolutely swash.
Yeah.
And after the match, they just show Harvey Whippleman just like shaking his head in like embarrassment. Like it was just like the death of Well Done.
As it should.
Yeah, it was a rough. I'm gonna look real quick if they come up again because they can't be.
Yeah, like how are you supposed to take them serious anymore?
Seriously, yeah. Let's see. One second. I'll get. Oh, they're back. They're still around. They started losing the Bushwhackers, so it shows you.
It's even worse.
It gets worse for them.
Right.
Yeah. So the Head Shrinkers look strong, but but it's just an easy match for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get where did I get Backlund? We get a random Backlund squash. Yeah. Again, random. It's like not publicized. It doesn't seem like he's going after Bret at this time. So just kind of random of why this is happening. But it doesn't seem like he's the guy for Bret's after that. And then we get British Bulldog out there. King just runs his joke books with old Yeller jokes, but this match might just be an old Yeller joke. And so, kind of just a nothing. Davey Boy Smith is someone that's just kind of not doing anything right now. He like came really close in the Rumble and then nothing's happened. after that. You think like he would have been challenging, like complaining, like doing something, but nothing, right? Compare that to like I was just listening to Warzone in the Final Four, right? How like everyone complains, they want another match, like Bulldog's just like, whatever. I got screwed by the ring announcer,
Right.
got screwed by the bell, like, just take it. So kind of nothing from him. We'll see if he turns that around. And then after they kind of do a King segment where he's sitting there and he talks about LT and how he's King says he's talked to Jim Brown, which is crazy. And he says that Jim Brown called LT soft. King also said he talked to Prince Charles. So I don't know if like, again, this seems like they're definitely trying to publicize like that everyone's talking about them. But I guess King knows all these major celebrities, but basically King's calling
probably on one of these party lists too.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. The P Diddy party list, but, he calls out LT. And then we again we got a Bam Bam interview, another amazing one saying he's sick of talking to LT. He through his lawyers, like he wants to talk to him like a man. So
Right.
this feud is really good. I remember at the time being like, I couldn't believe he did it right as a kid. I couldn't believe he shoved like an NFL play like that. And I couldn't believe like Bam Bam was calling him out. So like, this is really well done. Right. And it makes it seem like his actions are really going to cause LT to fight. Like, you know what I mean? Like it didn't seem like, oh yeah, he signed a match. Like they're making it feel like Bam Bam is calling him out and now he has to defend his honor.
Well, and it's a NFL player on the level of LT also. Like it's
not
just your, like this is one of the greatest defensive players of all time.
Yeah.
The best of his time. Like it's, I don't know how many younger listeners we have, but this is like big time athlete as far as that goes, and for them to get LT, I mean, he's probably was down on his luck money wise, but
yes,
different
story.
Nevertheless, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
but I think also like as we get into WrestleMania, the guys like I know Ken Norton Jr. we joked about, but like that was probably a Pro Bowler at the time, All Pro, right? Like they're gonna get big guys,
definitely.
Mongo, and like all these guys
Mongo,
are gonna bring in, and even like him talking about Jim Brown. He's not talking about like guys that are maybe not all the guys are generational, but a lot of them are, right? Everyone kind of heard of Jim Brown before, and I think most people have heard of LT and heard of Mongo, right? Like so, these are big time gets, right?
Yep.
All right, we got one last superstars. So again, dog show, so no Raw in between. So we're gonna go to our superstars. This is the 218. So this is taped the week 2 days after Royal Rumble. So a little bit fresher, and they kind of got some ideas of what they want to do from WrestleMania. We get another new lawyer. So I love this too. It's not the same guy, right? And now he's saying he's suing Bam Bam and the WWF. Again, this is just great. Like, again, maybe this guy was an actor, but like he doesn't have any acting skills.
No.
So I love it. So I love that, hey, they're making this serious. It's not a joke. They're not, et cetera. So I really thought this was good to start off the show and it's a talking point throughout. So I really like that as well.
Yeah. So, and this one's name is Anthony Giampapa. If anybody's interested in that,
anyone needs some legal fees or legal help,
right? Then we get a quick Hakushi squash, which is good to see. Like he's one of my favorite characters overall right now. Just in ring and his like presentation is cool. And then we move on to the Smoking Guns versus the Head Shrinkers. So
real quick on the Hakushi, they definitely did some like screenshots of people with like a USA chance, which feels crazy as well, because he's gonna fight Bret in Canada, so that was something. But he looks really solid.
It's always funny how that happens. It's like, okay, this guy's not really American, but we're gonna
throw it out there.
Right. So then we get the match that the Head Shrinkers had to beat the Well Dunn to get to, was the Smoking Guns versus Head Shrinkers. And I feel like this should have been a feud late last year. Like I feel like with some build, I feel like they could have worked well together. I think they fit well together. And like the Head Shrinkers make the Guns look like solid baby faces because they're like a bigger tag team, even though the Guns are kind of bigger guys too, but they can kind of toss them around a little bit and, get some sympathy for them. Uncle Zebekiah and the Blue Brothers come down, so it's kind of adding some intrigue to the whole tag scene in general, which I like. I'm always for that. So like finally we might get some tag team feuds, I guess. The Guns start like flying around. The Head Shrinkers are kind of throwing bombs, so it's a good little mix of the what the teams are good at. And then
Yep.
like there's a point where Barbarian goes for this tombstone and like doesn't have a good grip on Billy, and he's like slides him down, and it just spikes the shit out of him. It looks nasty.
Yeah,
The match
luckily it was so bad that he didn't actually land on his head.
right.
He landed on his shoulder, but
yeah,
I probably put the Billy should have a broken neck.
yeah. It looked rough at first. So yeah. Then it kind of like gets a little messy, and they go outside, and it ends in a double count out. So a nothing finish, but I feel like with more time or like a feud developed, these two could work well together, even though this wasn't the best match. Just at least it advanced some storyline and got like the Blue Brothers involved, and something of a tag scene kind of forming, I guess.
Yeah, there was a fan in a Doink wig in the front row who got kicked out. So this is where I started with this match, focusing on watching him and where he got eliminated from. So
yeah.
I had to wind back. Also, I'm like, there's a guy dressed as Doink. And
Right.
then I focused only on him for the first 5 minutes, but I rewound and we watched the match in full after that. So I thought the Smoky Guns actually looked good here. It's a team we haven't been really impressed with. They did a 4-man where like each guy does a clothesline on each other, and they all kind of do like the flip over bump. So I thought that was awesome. The Blue Brothers coming down the aisle is kind of random. Again, I thought the Guns, like, they did a lot more aerial offense that we've been seeing with them, or just noticing them. Like, even one thing they did hit a bulldog on Fatu. Like, should that not hurt him? But he sold that at least. But oh, sorry. And then I put dangerous pile driver. Billy should probably have a broken neck. I do like the Blue Brothers, like setting up a feud for them. So like, okay, it seems like a plot point, so we'll see where this goes. Like, that seems like that's a feud versus where we know Mania goes. But then so lame at the end, just to like a double count out. The crowd just boos so loud. Like, I don't understand how they didn't audio that out, because they're not booing for either team. They're just booing that this match kind of went to nothing. It was, I thought, really well done by all 4 guys. Like you said, there's some sloppy moves, and the storyline is kind of like weird. They're just going out there to fight as 2 face teams, which we don't usually see. But I thought from like a tag team standpoint, like, these 2 teams look good. Blue Brothers look intriguing. We've seen 1, 2, 3 Kid and Holly. So yeah, I think it's a pretty decent like tag division right now that we can't complain too much about. So a fun match. Again, I feel like just to set up storyline, but it was good enough.
Right.
We get announcement that next week there is a 20-man battle royal, and that's going to be the big thing for next week. So they're really building up that there's going to be a battle royal between guys. So we'll get a little bit more on that instead. We get this guy I've never seen before announcing an award with a fan.
Yeah.
They actually don't have it in history of WB, so this guy must be one and done. He must be like a newspaper editor or something. But Bret comes out to win the award. He said it was voted on, so I don't know if this was real or not. But it's so weird that he's not the champion. Yeah. If he it's kind of weird. Like, why is he downgraded from champion if he's winning this award?
Right.
And if it was like for legit, it kind of shows you like Diesel maybe isn't the guy for this. Right. So it was fine interview by Bret, but just kind of him going nowhere, just saying, he's a man of people and thanks to the fans, and kind of a generic program. He's not fighting anyone. So this was weird.
He has a sweet leather jacket on, though.
He does. But I've never heard of this award before. I do not know I do not know if they've ever done it again. So interesting there. We get another razor squash. So a guy kind of going nowhere. Just squashing out here. The crowd loves him, so I'll give him that, right? The crowd's into him. He looks impressive, but just kind of nothingness. They don't even have like an in-set promo or anything, so he's just out there. And then we get a new Diesel music video with this country music, kind of like his theme song kind of added like a little country twang to it and showing his highlights. So I kind of like that. If you're gonna show Bret, then show Diesel in the same superstars. So I like this. It was fine, but it's just a killer of time and kind of no points, but it builds up characters. So good enough. You would go the last couple of segments?
Yeah, so we got an interview with Bulldog in his luxurious jacket. He doesn't really get to a great point or anything here.
Nope.
Very weird interview to have. Like, there's no real reason to the interview or anything. Like, he's not setting up a feud. So Very weird spot.
He's just
there.
talking about the battle royal that he's
Right.
going to win it.
Yeah.
So
It's like, okay, why are you interviewing him? I know he's like the last guy, and it says his music played and should have won. It's like it's a little late for that pitch.
well, it's a month later. I mean,
Right.
this should have been right away. I mean, I get it happened. They're taping this. Well, I don't even know. This feels like it was taped a different spot. Like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of felt like it was taped differently. But okay, I get if this was taped there, but the actual airing of this is a month after the Rumble. So again, it feels
It's just out of place.
rough. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we get a Quang squash, which he kind of feels dead in the water too. Like they never really did anything with his character. We know it won't be too much longer, but so yeah, he gets a squash to end the show. But like the real end of the show is Lawler talking about Bret and like the Hakushi stuff and calling Bret a racist.
Yes.
And he's like calling him a racist over and over again.
Yes, nonstop.
It's crazy how hard Lawler goes for him. And I just love that Lawler keeps this feud alive with him and Bret. Like the hatred for him, it doesn't dissipate or anything like that. So good stuff to end the show, like a little exclamation point.
Yeah.
As far as that goes.
And I think they put King now he's in the Battle Royal next time. So he's basically like, I would have won the Rumble if I was in it last time. Now I'm in this Battle Royal. I'm going to win it. I kind of joke the crowd is dead for him, like just absolutely silence for him. So this might be again a guy that feels like he's kind of on his way out, like he just hasn't had feuds, he hasn't looked credible. Crowd's dead for it. I thought Bret's promo was pretty rough at the end. Like I just thought he just didn't have the fire that we love out of Bret. So I was kind of disappointed in Bret there. And I do like the fact that they're using King here for that because I think Hakushi, right? I think we liked his interview and we've loved him in ring, but he's not credible yet. Is he beating anyone? So I think I kind of like where they go with this with like, okay, we're going to bring Lawler to bring the feud and this credible guy. And they do it again with another Mr. Kane. Just his gimmick is so much worse, but I do like this to like elevating the guys using King to kind of build off this feud. Right. That's what it feels like. Right. I mean,
King is like the mouthpiece for all the heels. So.
Yeah. I really like that. Kind of like the same way Bobby Heenan or Slick would be back in the day.
Right.
So I thought this was really well done. Anything else to add on those?
I think we're good.
All right, gotta get to our awards. Most new gen outfits.
So there was a couple of jacket choices at the end there. I'm actually gonna go with Hakushi when they like displayed all the tattoos and everything, and his look in general was awesome. So.
I'm gonna go Bulldog. I thought he looked really good in his flare, jacket. His sequin jacket. Yep. All right, I'm just gonna put that down. We got most new gen performer.
I mean, it wasn't too much to go. I guess I'll go with the Guns because they look better than they're known as the tag team in this era, but we haven't really liked them, and they look kind of good this time, so I'll go with them.
Yeah, that's a really good choice. I'm gonna go Adam Bomb.
That's a good call
he looked good. I thought that this is kind of the Bomb we thought of, like the exploding fireworks, like looking impressive against guys, just can't pull it off, but he looked good. So worst match or segments?
I guess, I'll go Well Done in the Head Shrinkers. That was just a joke.
I put
match.
well done, R.I.P.
Right.
Best match or segment.
I guess I'll go with the whole Hakushi presentation. I think that was pretty well done there. So
interview. I do like the Lawler. Calling him racist. I'm gonna put the Bam Bam and lawyer stuff
too.
I put the Bam Bam lawyer stuff. Like it's really well done. I think just the lawyers add to it of just like we're suing the WWF. It feels serious, right? He's literally like we are suing the WWF, and you're like, oh man, that feels legit, right? Stock up for anyone.
I mean, just 3 for 3. I'm gonna go Hakushi. I just feel like he's like whenever they present somebody like that and he follows it up being solid in the ring, I like that. So
and I mean he's going after Bret Hart. I mean he's not going after a Quang or some of the jobbers. So I'll give them that. Let's see if there's anyone else. I'll go stock up the Guns, a team I really have not like. A team we haven't really been high up on. So
yeah, I'm the same. Yeah.
They did pretty well in their match this week. And even from last time, the stuff they did with 1, 2, 3 Kid and Bob Holly is pretty solid. So kind of combo for their work. So anyone stock down?
I'm gonna go with the $1 Million Corporation as a whole.
Oh, how dare you!
Yeah, it's so flat right now. I'm not feeling it at all. So
yeah, because they've kind of isolated Bam Bam from the DiBiase here. You know,
he feels like it's by himself, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that I wish I kind of want to watch that Luger Tatanka match to see if that's any good. From Action Zone. Yeah, I'm gonna go stock down on Kama just because he was supposed to be Papa Shango and he talks like Papa Shango.
Right.
I think also Shawn Michaels would be up there. Just his announcing wasn't very good. Yeah. I would also Stan Lane. Like I didn't know stock on him at all, but he was terrible. He's bland as could be. So some couple stock down guys from there. Kind of joking aside, but. Yeah, so, not a lot happened here, but you can kind of see they're starting to get some of these feuds set up for house shows, Hakushi and Bret, and, you can see Bulldogs try to get elevated, the Head Shrinkers, Blue Brothers seems like it's a feud. We're kind of finishing off Luger. Like, Luger, I wonder what he'll do, like, after Tatanka, like, if that really concludes it. So I'm going to try to find that match and watch it and see how that one kind of ends, because that feels like that's the end of that feud. Is Luger a guy that really just, like, disappears, or is he a guy that's, like I said, main eventer? So... some interesting stuff here. Some guys we haven't seen in a while, like Razor Ramon. Like, where's his feud going to come from? Like Owen Hart, we haven't seen a little bit. So some of these guys are just kind of missing in action. Want to see where they go before we get to WrestleMania. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. We have the return of Live Raw, the big debut of Psycho Sid. Sorry to ruin it, but I got too excited seeing him come out. Tons of other things that come up. Really builds up the Mania card for the next one. And we're within a month by the time we're done with those shows of WrestleMania. So we'll get moving along here over the next couple weeks. So we'll see everyone in 2 weeks with 2 more Raws and 2 Superstars as we build up to WrestleMania 11.
Yes, sir.